These are two of the best PC controllers you can buy right now. On paper, they're very similar, but after using both, one's been collecting dust and the other daily use. So let's get into why. Spec for spec, they line up almost perfectly. TMR sticks, Hall triggers, high polling rates, extra buttons. The GameSir is about 30 quid more than the 8BitDo, which should make this pretty straightforward. But it didn't. This is where things started to separate for me, but it wasn't something I noticed straight away. In hand, the 8BitDo feels lighter, it's thinner, easier to move around, and overall for shorter gaming sessions, it's pretty good. The GameSir is definitely a chunkier controller by comparison, filling your hands with ease, and that textured grip does definitely give you an extra bit of security. At first, that does sound pretty minor. Where it starts to show is during longer gaming sessions. With that thicker shape and grip, my hands felt more relaxed over time with less micro adjustments while gaming. And honestly, to me, it just felt much more natural. So it's not necessarily that one's more comfortable than the other, it's more down to personal preference. After comfort, connectivity became the biggest practical difference between the two. With the 8BitDo, all connection methods have been sleek, seamless, and everything works. As soon as I turn it on, no issues. With the G7 and the 2.4G, I'll be honest, it has not been great at all. The connection rarely works, and for the majority of the time, I just have to use the wired connection. So if wireless connection really matters to you, this is a real downside for the G7 and probably the biggest practical advantage for the 8BitDo. Both controllers give you 4 extra buttons and full remapping, so neither feels limited in terms of the options. Where they feel different is where you press the button. The 8BitDo is more like your standard console button press. Basic, but it gets the job done. The GameSir has more of a mechanical click. Every button press sounds like a mouse switch, but it's everywhere. A nice feature of the G7 is the fact that you can lock out the back pedals, meaning there's no risk of any accidental presses. On both, you've got the hairline trigger feature, which is really helpful in reaction-based games. Regarding system software, I found the GameSirs to be a bit easier to get around, so naturally I spent more time tweaking things in there. But don't get me wrong, the 8BitDo software is encompassing everything as well. I just prefer the layout of the GameSirs. The 8BitDo has a battery life of around 17 hours, which is absolutely fantastic, but I've never even got remotely close to that, since whenever I'm done gaming, I just throw it on the dock. And it's a similar situation with the GameSir. Although we're getting a slightly lower battery life, it doesn't make a difference, since it's never even left my desk. But when they do need charging, it is done quite fast, considering they both use USB-C to charge. Once you get past battery, what's left is mostly external. So if you care about RGB, this does it best, and it's not too much like other budget controllers. Unfortunately, there is no RGB for the GameSir. However, it does have an interchangeable faceplate, so it does have some customizability, and there are quite a few different faceplates on the website if that's what you care for. Unlike the 8BitDo, you do actually have a headphone port plus an extra little mute button over there, which is a nice touch. Also, just to note, there is support for motion control on both controllers, but I rarely see a use for it, but it is there, so that's a nice addition. So after using both of these for a while, it really comes down to how you play. The 8BitDo is cheaper, lasts longer, and has a reliable wireless connection. So if you want something you can quickly pick up and not worry about long cables or a really chunky controller size, this is probably best. On the other hand, if you want a chunkier, more heavier, more pro controller with fantastic comfort for long gaming sessions, with the only caveat being the dodgy connection, this is probably for you. It definitely was for me, and that's why I don't even touch this controller anymore. If you want to check these controllers in-depth reviews, check these videos out over here. And anyway, like, subscribe, support the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.